Hi, sorry it took me a day to get back to you. It has been extraordinarily busy. But I have good news for you. I found lots of stuff, and maybe where we were going wrong was sticking to communication database. But I'll show you that as well. So I'm looking at stuff on a monitor over here if I, if I turn to the side. By the way, that ad was hilarious. I saw the one, I don't know if there's a series of ads, but I saw the one where the dude gets a splash on his shoulder and it turns out to be like a tiger symbol. And then he like drives a boat, the steering wheel falls off. That was hilarious. I was going to say, I know people like that. I'm not one of them, but some people live the charmed life, don't they? So I'm going to show you three different things. We'll start with the Communication and Mass Media Complete database in hopes that we can find something about communication and rhetoric, public relations, and things like that. I'm going to also, and this might be something, do you need to find a communication direct database? That might narrow it down and make it a trick, but I'll show you ways of fanning out. If we're not restricted to communication discipline specific databases, I'm going to also show you Business Source Premier, which has a lot of marketing and advertising, especially like case studies and analysis. So we might even find the Jameson ad. And then lastly, I'll show you this library catalog. So databases, and we go to communication. Something we've already done before, Communication and Mass Media Complete. I think we've already done this before. I'm going to go to Advanced Search. And then, what do I lost my search already. So, advertising. Oh, here we go. Oftentimes, it might not be tied to advertising, but they might call it like a campaign or marketing or something like that. Can we use other ways of talking about it? There's some suggestions here, and I like making these uppercase because it might, in some databases, it counts if it's uppercase. Because we want this to be like a, so it's looking for one or the other, or the other, or the other. And I'm going to do or campaign, and then a star, so that'll catch campaigns. So if we just do that search, I'm going to save that in case I need to type it in again. Just doing that search, let's see how much there is in communication and mass media. Oh, 182,000. That's pretty good. So we can narrow it down to some of the other keywords that we have, speech codes, narrative paradigm. And I want to show you something. So I'm going to do this likelihood. And you see this and, that means it's going to look for everything first, and then it's going to narrow down the search results from that initial search into the second one. So here in the business one, it says, oh, that this should go in a particular way, but this one is looking at a whole bunch of different ideas. So let me show you what the business database had. And we can go back and forth between them. Business Source Premier. So I'm going to do that same search, and let me show you what happens. They're both an EBSCO database, which is handy. But when I put in likelihood, instead of like likelihood of pregnancy or likelihood of this, it gives me, all of a sudden there's like other things in here, like ratio, or measurements, or scales. So does that mean this is this more likely to have what you're looking for? I don't know. But beware that that subtlety might throw us off. One way to get around that is saying, I want this to be in, so I'm back in the communication database. I want this to be in the abstract. So instead of that word just floating around anywhere, I want it to be among the most viable, valid things in the articles that we look for. And here's that likelihood model. So also, it goes back a smidge of time. So you have to come up to, I don't know, come up to like the last 10 years or so. Yeah, it's still 536. So is the likelihood model the one you're looking for? I saw one that was kind of like a probability scale, and then another one was like looking for a market that kind of understood, kind of like that speech codes one. So you get to determine what you're looking for. If you want to go even tighter in, you can look that for likelihood in the title. So we know that this ads and advertisement campaign is going to be somewhere. But if likelihood has to be in the title, that will like ultra narrow it down. Maybe too narrow. So I'll go back to abstract. And you can just do this with the other ones. So I'll do narrative paradigm. Remember, if it's more than one word, put it in quotes. Ooh, there's only 6. Narrative paradigm is a very specific set of words that's not like likelihood that could mean several different things. So what happens if we just expand out and look at any field? It bumps up a couple more. That is another strategy. Let's do speech codes. And there's nothing. I'm like all excited about that. Again, this is something that is very specific, so it's not likely that this is going to have more than one meaning than the theory we were talking about. To get the article that talks about this in particular, we might have to back out of our context and get rid of that altogether and just look up speech codes. And then there's 61, and then we could say, oh, I want the article to just be about speech codes. Oh, it didn't stick. There we go. Then there's 3. You can do the same searches in the Communication Mass Media Complete. Let me go back a couple searches. If you're looking for a journal, let's go back to one that had like a body. Okay, so there's like 34 in here. If you're looking for a specific journal, after you've done your searches in a way that you feel comfortable with, so there's 536 here, then you can go down in the left-hand sorting options and you can see publication. And you can see what are the main journals that are talking about this. And this works in the business database as well as in this one. So all of these show up in the Communication Mass Media Complete, but some of them clearly are like business oriented. So are you stuck to a particular list of databases? You could go through this and check off through that list. So you could do, I would say, do that same search and do that same style where you're like backing in and out, maybe getting rid of something. But then you can also go in, if you're looking for the particular instance. So in Business Source Premier, you can look up Jameson. Oh yeah, let's do Jameson. Jameson and whiskey. In the business database, oh, what was it called? Must be a Jameson. Come on, Dale. Must be a Jameson. You can see if they have anything about, yeah, they don't have anything about that campaign. So one other thing that you can do, if you're not tied again to a specific set of databases, we can go to the library catalog. And I know for like arts, graphic design, television and media, all sorts of different things might cover what those databases didn't. So if you're looking for information on the campaign in particular, ding, ding, ding. These are just newspaper articles. So there's like a media. This is not scholarly, it's a newspaper. It might be an ad campaign discussion. A lot of that's going to be found on the open web, but check it out. There's like alcoholic beverage industry and marketing. That's like a totally different thing that you could go in. Let's go back. Alcoholic beverage. Hard time thinking of whiskey as a beverage. It's so strong. I think a beverage is like a water. So is this something that you could go in and make alcoholic beverage and then instead look at speech codes? Of course, I found nothing. But you can Come on. Okay, nothing. But you can, as you find keywords and related things, you can go back and forth in between your tabs. This is a strategy that I always use. Did this help at all? Let me know, and I'm happy to help further. Have a good weekend.